Okay, so yeah, good afternoon once again. Can you hear me clearly, please? Confirm you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, can you?
Okay, so this is a watch. This is going to be a watch live recording eventually. So good afternoon, everyone joining the session. My name is Denu Bon, the founder of GoLoko Diaries, a global media and publishing company specializing in general writing and projects, book publishing, and UK jobs and visa. So we have a community for called the Global Talent Forum, and in the community we started hosting the series called From Doubt to Endorsement, how UK global talents got their endorsement. So and then they'll be sharing their real life stories and all. So here we have our first guest to the session. He actually was not able to join us for the time, so we had to reschedule. And then today we'll be having him share with us his his story. His name is Oluwananumi Dawodu. He got endorsed as a global talent, as a UK global talent, exceptional talent in 2020. And today we'll be hearing from him. The details, the background, and then a story on how we went from doubt to endorsements. So, and stay to the end of this. By the end of this journey, by the end of this video, by the end of this session, we'd also share we can help you, and then to also go and see your own global talent journey. So let's welcome Mr. Oluwananumi now. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be
You have
here.
the floor.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, so thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here and to be speaking on a very important, pathway to moving to the UK. And like we said, the whole idea is to put concepts, put perspective into what it entails to get people to move migrate legally and in a more better way to the United Kingdom via the global talent route, right? And this is the route put in place by the UK government to allow people who work around the technology space to be able to migrate or come over to the United Kingdom and contribute into the technological industrial space and also see how they can help use their talent to be able to improve the system or the industry, or also just contribute effectively into the current system that the country is currently uh, building on. And all thanks to the UK government by putting in place a endorsing body called the technician. Actually, there are various endorsing body that can get you the global talent visa. Understand that there is the arts council, art and council rather. There is the technician, and there's also the research body, right? That's the Royal Society. So there's a Royal Society of different fields that can actually, provide these endorsements, right? And also there are some categories of what's it called? There are some categories of fellowships. There's some categories of awards that provide fast track or fast entry into getting an endorsement. But basically, I'll just be talking about the route that entails or that involves the technician endorsement, right? luckily, the technician has, secured an extension into their role in providing endorsements for talents to come into the United Kingdom um, via the global talent routes. The UK government were contemplating, uh, looking for another, endorsing body, and the technician bid for it, and they got an extension to continue their good work, to continue endorsing people, talents, to get the endorsements to come into the UK via the global talent. Right, there are two categories, stated explicitly by the endorsing body. The first category is the exceptional talent, and the second category is the exceptional promise. Right, either exceptional talent or exceptional promise. What I usually tell people is that they are both, pathways to get to the global talent, and also pathways that give people, the capacity and the ability to stay in the UK without, needing, sponsorship of an employer, basically. And it also gives a pathway to, permanent residency. That's the indefinite leave to remain, and also gives, a pathway to finally becoming a British citizen, depending on the category of endorsements that was bestowed or given to you as a talent. For the exceptional talent, right, uh, usually there is a shorter route to getting the indefinite leave to remain or the permanent residency as it applies to other countries. The exceptional talent can usually, offer you a 3-year pathway to a permanent residency or indefinite leave to remain, which people call the ILR. Other countries might call it the permanent residency. But the exceptional promise gives, a 5-year route to getting the indefinite leave to remain, or also called the permanent residency in other countries. Either the 3-year route or the 5-year route, they are both, global talent visa, right? The only distinguishing factor is that exceptional talent gives the shorter route to get in the ILR, while the exceptional promise gives you the standard 5-year to get in the ILR, just like what we know for the Tier 2 skilled worker visa. So I quite understand that there are so many immigration laws that the United Kingdom is rolling out, that is bringing about some serious and drastic changes to the way immigration is being looked at in the previous years. But for now, this is the few things we understand about the global talent visa, pending any change that may occur, or pending any implementation from the UK Home Office or from the Home Secretary, right? And so the global talent visa generally is open to both technical and business applicants, provided they work in the digital technology sector. Sometimes you hear things like, "Oh, provided you work in a product-led company." So digital product-led company or digital technology sector, those words sometimes are used interchangeably. It's a flexible visa. It allows you to work, switch jobs, and also be self-employed, depending on the kind of contribution you're trying to bring to the United Kingdom. And for both categories, the visa is valid for up to 5 years. I repeat again, for both categories, the visa is valid for up to 5 years. Either you're a talent or you promise. So you will definitely be an exceptional person. So it's either you're now a talent or a promise. If you're a talent, you can decide to apply for a 5-year visa, and also if you're a promise, you can decide to apply for a 5-year visa, right? So the only thing is that if you're a talent and you spent up to 3 years on the visa category, you can now approach the Home Office and work towards application that would grant you a permanent residency or indefinite leave to remain, right? But if you decide not to go for it, you can decide to complete your 5 years before you go for it. The choice, the onus, still lies on you, right? So, um, one of the very first important things to getting the visa, particularly, is to first apply for endorsement via the technician. So a lot of things are changing actually. So you need to go on the gov.uk website to see, the latest in thing that applies to getting the endorsement, right? So for now, you might have to first go through the gov.uk website first, then before you are now referred to the endorsement platform for technician, right? But what we know that applies before is that you go to the gov.uk website, right? And once your documents are, complete, once your evidences are complete, then you have to now, go back then on gov.uk website after you make a payment, do all of that, get a reference number, then they will now ask you to head over to technician website and submit your documents for the endorsement, right? And the prices have changed over the year because the price I paid when I was trying to apply for endorsement is quite different from how much it is now. So what we've seen is a review of the prices from time to time, right? So, and I believe the hosts would deem it fit to put out the correct information as regards what applies, steps and prices. So if you are following the host, you are going to be seeing a lot of you are going to be seeing a lot of information like guide that would just keep you right and ensure that you are doing the right thing based on the latest research that that is available out there concerning the application, right? So, what are the kind of people that can apply? Basically, just to clear all form of doubt. First, technical applicants that are working in digital technology sector or working in a digital product led company. Also, business applicants too. You can be a marketer, you can be a digital marketer, you can be a product marketer, you can be a business analyst, provided what you're offering, what you are doing, your work is being used product led in a product led company, right? Um, so what are the kind of people that are not eligible? These are people that work in outsourcing roles or people that work in consulting. Generally, they do not prefer people that work in consulting firms as typical applicants that can apply. So if your work is in consulting, probably a cybersecurity consultant in a consulting firm, a DevOps engineer in a consulting firm, you might want to look at the criteria again and consult with an immigration expert to be able to be sure that what your experience is actually fits into the typical uh, applicants that they want or they are looking for. Right. For an exceptional talent, you have to be like a recognized leader with notable achievements, uh, at least over the last 5 years. Right. But if you have less than 5 years experience, ideally what is advisable is to go for the exceptional promise. These kind of people are classified as early career applicants with high potential. Let's say you have 3 years, 2+ years experience, and you've like in those 2+ or 3 years, you've done remarkably well. You've done a lot for yourself. You've add some notable, what's it called, achievement, then you can go for exceptional promise. Provided you can, show that you have some solid impact and recognition, right? So there are some words that are used interchangeably when you're talking about evidences and criteria. Sometimes they use the word mandatory in a kind of funny way. You be hearing a lot of things like mandatory, mandatory. There are two instances where the word mandatory was used in terms of recommendation letter and in terms of evidences. Right? There's a difference between evidences and recommendation letter. When they are talking about recommendation letter, they use the word mandatory, and that's the only word they use for a recommendation letter because it is actually mandatory. There is not an option to it. You just have to submit, 3 recommendation letters, right? Not 2, not 1. It is standard 3, not even 4. What they want is 3, and that is mandatory, right? There is another instance where the word mandatory was used, which is for criteria or evidence. So there is mandatory criteria and there is what we call optional criteria. In mandatory criteria, some people call it MC, and optional criteria, some people call it OC. OC begins like OC1, OC2, OC3, MC1, MC2, MC3. It means mandatory criteria. So for mandatory recommendation letter, we look like MR or LOR. You understand? Either MR or LOR still means letter of recommendation, which is mandatory. And it must be met. And the number is 3, right? So 3 industry leaders, right, that know your work, that can vouch for your presence, your contribution, your involvement, and your notable achievement and recognition to 3. And these industry leaders must not be related to you. They must not be your colleague on the same level. They must be, industry experts, your seniors, CEOs, founders, industry leaders, technical experts that can provide, statutory solid recognition letter to vouch for you and also, put a word there for you about your future, your intended contribution in the United Kingdom, your current achievements and recognition, and what you hope to achieve and what you've done in the past, and they must state the duration of time they've known you. So the least duration of time they should have known you is 12 months, which must be stated. So if they've known you for 3+ years, they must state it. They've known these candidates for over 3 years, over 4 years, and they must state the capacity at which they knew you for, what you're doing at that time, your contribution, your achievements, and what you've been able to, and what stands you out as an exceptional expert, as an exceptional technical applicant, or an exceptional business applicant working in digital products field or digital product company or a digital sector, right? So for the criteria, like I told you, is that MC or OC. MC means mandatory criteria. So for mandatory criteria, you need to pick at least 2 out of the 4 criteria. So the mandatory criteria can either be, centered around innovation, contributions outside your job, commercial or technical impacts, award, high salary, uh, so for 1 second, for mandatory criteria, you're trying to show them you've been recognized as a leader, either through media coverage, major speaking roles, high salary with proof of impact, open source leadership, letters from recognized industry expert. So if you go into the published guide from Technician, you are going to see the list there. It is very exhaustive, right? It contains everything you need. And if you follow the host very well, you will be able to get useful links and, the complete guide, as to the details of the things that can serve as mandatory criteria. But for sure, I understand that there is high salary there. If you believe that or you've earned higher than your contemporaries in your field, and you can show it, via your payslip, via your via your offer letter, that will work, and you can give the comparison as to why you earn higher than your contemporaries. Two, major speaking roles. Three, also awards and recognition, and also media coverage, and also innovation. Proof of innovation can also, serve as items that you can show as mandatory criteria. All of these individual items are usually not more than 3-page documents. So if you are trying to prove a particular point, you should not prove that point beyond 3 page. Do you get what I mean? So basically, but if you follow the host very well, you'll be able to see, a complete and exhaustive guide as to what items can serve as mandatory criteria. And for optional criteria, they are just like evidences around revenue growth, product launch, patents, innovation, and also voluntary work in the technical space, right? And it can also involve your participation in mentoring, other people in the technology sector. Most likely, the mentorship should be a structured mentorship, open source contributions for, the technical folks, and also for the business folks, it can involve sales reports, marketing impact, you know, product designs. Uh, for people whose academic background is also in the technology field, evidences can optional character evidences can involve peer-reviewed publications in top-tier journals, evidence of major awards or fellowships, and letters from senior academic supervisors. That's for people who have an academic background. Not everyone in tech. One second. Can you hear me?
Share with us.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. You're back on. But your video is off. Can't see your video yet. Hi, Oluwananumi. Can you share your video?
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, so I said not everyone
Yes,
who
I
is
can hear you. I can hear
in
you now.
yeah, so I said not everyone who is in the technology field or sector have an academic background in tech. But actually, there are some people who, went to school to study computer science, to study product marketing, to study cybersecurity, to study, as a bachelor's or master's, right? So, such individuals can have, peer-reviewed publications in top-tier journals or evidence of major awards or fellowship, like maybe cybersecurity fellowship, or letters from senior academic supervisors like professors in the field, who can give them letters that can, commiserate or, further strengthen their application, right? So basically, that's just, brief summary. Then after the, what's it called, the endorsement, then what happens next is to apply for the visa, which you need to also, pay for the IHS, that's the health social fee, also payments for other payments in terms of moving into the UK and also settling down when you first arrive into the United Kingdom, right? Basically, right? So, what I'll just advise anyone listening to me is keep following the host, and he has put out a lot of important details, even beyond what I've shared, that you can also find useful, and you can also connect with me on LinkedIn, Oluwananumi Dawodu, and also ask me any relevant questions that can apply to your application. And if I've got some time, I'll just pop in and give you responses and see how I can support you. Basically just provide one-to-one support in terms of answering your questions and providing clarity into any gray area. But like I would say, I'm not an immigration expert, and I do not provide 100%, what's it called? I do not provide 100% support for people trying to apply, but basically because I've gone through the process and I can use my experience to guide you. I'm happy to answer some questions and see how you can, provide a stronger application, using my own experience. But like I would say, my experience, is not exhaustive and might not be absolute because of changing, some changes that are happening. But however, if you find it relevant, I'll also be able to provide you support guidance if you need them. And there are also other global talents recipients that you can also reach out to on LinkedIn. They're always very willing to, if they are less busy, they're always very willing to provide answer questions, support you, and if they are not, then you can always check the guide. There are videos online on YouTube people have done to provide clarity and provide step by step into the application process, right? So just stick on the page, keep following, and you'll keep seeing more useful tips from GoLoko Diaries, and see how you can also get your application in and become a recipient of the Global Talent Visa. I wish you best of luck. Thank you.
To just answer like two questions before you go.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. Thanks so much. That was an awesome presentation. I believe some people, the people who are, those that will be joining live eventually when this video is going up on YouTube, they'll be getting a lot of clarity, and some of the people here on the call would have gotten sufficient clarity. But we'll not be able to take questions from those that are live on the call right now. But I believe in upcoming sessions they'll be able to do that. So I just want to know, how was it like for you when you first heard about the Global Talent Visa? When did you hear about it? And then what was the first thing that came to your mind? And how did you start preparing yourself towards it?
Okay, thank you very much. To be honest, I've heard of the Global Talent Visa for a while now. I think since 2020, right? I've heard of the Global Talent Visa since 2020. And the YouTube video I watched that gave me exposure, a lot of, information as to what it entails was the YouTube video done by PC Timmy, right? Thanks to her, she sometimes I call her the poster girl for technician, right? She made a YouTube video that got a lot of traction, and it was out there, and I watched it from beginning to the end. She was explaining why she moved. I checked her profile, I saw that she didn't have the educational background in tech, basically, but from work experience and all of that, she became a leader or an exceptional talent, you would say, in tech. And I was following her journey, trying to see, okay, how long it took her from the point of no experience to the point of being able to be qualified for global talent visa. And I was just like, oh, perhaps if I give myself the time, if I, stretch my career a bit, if I, do the hard work in a bit and see, if if I apply the same principle, I can get the same results, right? I won't say like copy and paste. I'll just say like, taking clue from someone's journey and trying to see if you, put in the same, level of hard work. Let's see if you can achieve the same result. You know, and I give myself like a 4 year, duration. Like, okay, let me give myself 4 more years and keep working on this thing, keep doing the hard work, keep going above and beyond, keep trying, keep, putting effort, and maybe one day the universe will look down on me and, you know, reward me with the UK Global Talent. Unfortunately, when I felt the nudge that, oh, it was time to move, it was time to take the risk, it was time to give myself a chance, it was time to remove the doubts and just, go for it. Then I decided to put in an application, and voila, it was successful at the first try, right? Not so many people had a successful application at the first try, but I just find it, a privilege to be one of the partaker to have, successful application at the first try, and I want to say it is credit to God, credit to, you know, credit to the experience and support of people who have gone ahead. You know, we are a product of information and the support of people who have gone ahead, who have saved the paths, who have, cleared the road for others to have a smooth, journey. And for everyone out there who has put in pieces and bit of information about the global talent visa, they are really, helping people and shaping other people's journey, even if they are not so aware of the impacts, the information they are putting out there is doing. And I also read a couple of Medium articles too from people that they never knew. I read their Medium article out there, and it has also contributed to my, capacity, my knowledge bank in terms of applying, knowing what is right and what is not. So that's what I'm saying, that, oh, just put the information out there. You never can tell who you're helping. You never can tell the life you're changing. You never can tell whose story is being transformed from the information you're putting out there. Someone somewhere will just read it and just pick it up that this is it. And that information becomes like a prophecy towards the next big thing for that person. So that information can actually be the prophecy, can actually be the confirmation for such individual to make that move. And actually, so those information I read were like the confirmation that, okay, I did not stumble on this information by mistake, because there are a lot of things on the internet. I could have stumbled on a comedy skit that very day, but I didn't stumble on a comedy skit. I stumbled on the information towards global talent visa, and I sat with it, watched it, noted it down, did further research, see how I can, position myself to get it, and the rest they say is
Is
history.
history. Okay. So then the final question is this. So that was amazing. So guys, what you needed to learn from that was that he watched PC Timmy's video. So to some extent, there's this kind of, and he himself mentioned it, that set of guidance, from people who have gone ahead, people who put out content concerning it, people who advise concerning it is very, very important because that is what streamlines you from all the barrage of information out there to actually getting it done, and not just guidance, but like guidance that helps you get it done. Because and that is what we see from here. So the last question I'm going to ask is, whereas we actually wanted the session, so we budgeted an hour 30 minutes, but Oluwananumi is so busy, and that's one of the things you need to understand about global talent. They actually become, and that is one of the things I tell people who come to me because we will roll out content concerning the global talent. They come to me and I'm telling them that, and they're telling, people who have had failures. I said the people who are actually global talent, they don't have the time to be coming to create content to talk about it, except if they now decided to start a business around it because they are busy as global talents who they are. So thank you so much for actually taking this time out to share your story with us, share your journey. He was doubting, he gave himself a 4-year plan, but eventually before the 4 year was going to elapse, was able to get the visa at his first trial. So it means that you can also get the visa. You can plan towards this thing even in the time you've heard of it. Like now that you're hearing of it, you can plan towards it. And then according to your plan, in just about a couple of months, in a couple of years, you get the endorsement. And that's it. So the last question, sir, is this. So what is your, what I really want to ask about is that, okay, now, like how does life after the visa and endorsement looks like? And then and what would you advise that people, because a lot of people relocate to the UK, they're actually very desperate to leave maybe their home country, especially if they are coming from like African countries, West African countries, or let me just bring it home, like from Nigeria now. They just want to jackpot and all of those things. So what is your advice? Because there are some requirements, there are some things that are expected of people who get the global talent visa. There are some milestones you have to meet, not necessarily like specific, but in terms of tax, in terms of UK life. What would be your advice to everyone who is going through this route? I've already started talking about the hard work and so, but like, what would be your specific advice for anyone who would like to relocate to the UK, like the kind of perspective mindset shift that you like for them to have from your reflecting from your own journey? You're muted.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm moving to the UK. The UK is quite different from Nigeria, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
um, the way the work culture is very much different from Nigeria's work culture, and adapting to the new system is very, very key. There are some skills that are booming in Nigeria that are not really booming here in the UK, and there are some
Nobody said
I
that.
I demand skills that they don't joke with, like if you can do them you know in within a few period of time, you actually get into decent jobs, like basically, right? So what I'll just advise is there's what we call transferable skills, right? And that's the most important thing. Like, you know, if you can show that, oh, you've got some transferable skills from what you've done, in Nigeria, and which is applicable to the work you are currently applying for, or what you're trying to the company organization are trying to join, and you can prove it via previous experience and previous engagement. You want to believe you are going to really do very well, because what's important is that perhaps you're working for a Nigerian company, now you're working for a company based in the UK. So two different clients, two different kind of clients that you'll be working with, two different kind of two different set of kind of customers, like that you'll be working with, in terms of the depending on the product the company is offering, right? So, what was important is the transferable skills that you can, bring on board, because humans are humans anyway. Do you get what I'm saying? But the kind of customer behavior or user behavior in Nigeria is different from user behavior in the UK. The way they use products is different from the way they see and perceive new products, different from the way Nigeria will see and perceive, products. So especially for people that are doing marketing and all of that. So it's especially for people that do marketing that have not worked with international companies before, it might be quite different and challenging for you to navigate, a different customer terrain, in the UK compared to the customer you're used to in Nigeria, right? Especially when you're working with brands and all of that. I really feel for people in marketing. Honestly, I wonder how they cope when they move or change countries. But a lot of people have worked with international brands, so they already know what applies, right? If you're a software engineer, PHP in Nigeria is same to PHP in UK, so the languages are universal, right? Nothing is changing, right? So there's nothing, spectacular about what's it called transitioning. The only thing you're doing is you're changing the employer you're writing your codes for. You understand? But what would just be important to just the work culture and all of that, details. If you're working remotely in Nigeria, you continue working remotely when you get here, right? So same goes to some other skill set like product design and um other skills like product design, cybersecurity. But for cybersecurity, the caveat is especially when you want to work in, like, let's say, government and all that stuff, you might need some level of security clearance, right? Because you'll be dealing with very sensitive information, which you might not. For security clearance, you need to have spent some required number of years in the UK before you can get it, right? Except if you want to pivot or do or work with private organizations or companies outside the UK, right? Basically. So, or you do, or you work outside, or you work, in fields, related to cybersecurity, but you might not really be dealing with, very, what's it called?
Cybersecurity.
High priority information, very sensitive information, or, some kind of classified, I call it some classified information, because information can be classified. So some kind of classified information, you might not have the privilege to be exposed to some classified information. Do you get what I mean? Especially when you want to work with the government, right? So I've seen that a lot. So you might not, you might want to work in somewhere related to your field, that will not be, centered around working with classified information. So, but to be a software engineer, you're good. Product designer, you're good, right? Marketing, depending, I don't know, but if you can show transferable skills, and also if you work with international organizations, that also will give you an edge that, okay, you understand the client, you understand the users in Europe, or you work with an European company, you understand, users around Europe and everything. So, and some of these companies might even be wanting to extend their presence to Africa, and you might just be the African guy, for them. You never can tell, because a lot of countries are looking at this African business relationship and saying how they can extend their offerings to other continents. So you might just be the African guy on the team, and that will just give you an edge. So basically, so transitioning is a two-way thing. First of all, the most important thing is opening your mind up to new opportunities, right? And the second thing is also, highlighting your transferable skills, getting a UK, kind of CV, and also networking with recruiters, and also networking with people. And in no
Very, very
time,
important.
you'll be able to like learn something, let people guide you, It's quite lonely here, but I mean, there are still, people who you can meet online that can also support you and just help you, basically. So we have angels in human form that can provide you some sort of support and just
Uh-huh.
point you to the right direction.
Yeah, yeah,
All right, that's it.
yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, Oluwananumi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. So this is it. You've learned from Oluwananumi. When he saw it, he was like, "Wow, maybe this probably wasn't for him." But eventually, he stumbled on a video, and then when he stumbled on the video, he just got the right thing that he needed. He was able to give himself a 4-year career trajectory plan, and then even under 4 years, before the 4 years elapsed, he was able to apply. He applied in 2020. He applied 2022 ending, and then he got endorsed 2023, and he relocated to the UK as a cybersecurity professional, a UK global talent. What you have learned from his story is the one of planning, obviously guidance, mentorship, and then focus, and then actually also one of the things I also learned quite all right is the site where I was talking about shelving of distractions, distracting elements, all the other barrage of information online to just the ones of those who have gotten it and those who are providing guidance to get the global talent visa. He put in the hard work, and is a call to putting in the hard work, and then eventually he relocated. And then in terms of relocation, he also shared the advice that the whole scope is you being able to transfer your skills from your wherever you're coming from, wherever you are in the world, to the UK, to adaptabilities and all of those things. So this thing is a possibility. It is something that you can achieve. It's something that you can get for yourself. And then we have no doubt that you could get it. We at GoLoko Diaries, we have made it a thing for ourselves to actually go against the skilled worker visa, and to just keep publicizing information, that both information on clarity, mentorship, as well as this from doubts to endorsement series, to just get people to be well equipped and informed about the global talent visa, and to also help them to journey along. Thank you so much for joining the session once again. If you need any support, any form, you can always reach out to him and to other global talents online via LinkedIn. When they are opportunity, if they are less busy, they'll be able to give you time to maybe look through your document and the likes of it. But you can also reach out to us to engage. You should reach out to us maybe if you don't know, if you're not sure about your whether you're qualified or whether you can get this visa. You could reach out to us, take up our eligibility criteria assessment services, and then we also get to hold your hands through to get to work on this anime. So one fun fact about Oluwananumi is that I think this should be part of his planning for the visa and his endorsement. He got the Diana Award. The Diana Award is a very prestigious award, and I know time will fail him to really talk about that now, because he had to spare us 30 minutes of his time. This was not even planned for. We're still trying to book a new schedule for him, and but we are very grateful. Thanks so much for joining, everyone. To join now, for everyone who will be watching this on YouTube, we invite you to join the Global Talent Forum. It's a free forum, just like you have the Tech Nation Forum, but this time around, the Global Talent Forum is an all-encompassing forum. We'll be accommodating people who are professionals in tech. We're accommodating people who are professionals in arts and culture. We're accommodating professionals across academia and research. So join bit.ly/capital letter M, uppercase letters, hyphen, then GoLoko, GOLOKO. Make sure you join. You'll be redirected. Go through the sequences. Bit.ly once again, // uppercase letters all through GTV hyphen GoLoko, GOLOKO. So we look forward to having you. We have master classes every Wednesday on how you could get the global talent, in this year and even beyond. Thank you so much once again for joining everybody. God bless you. We really want to see you fly. God has blessed you. My name is Denu Bon. I'm the founder, CEO, GoLoko Diaries, and GoLoko Diaries is you know what we do already. We are interested in taking your success on a flight. Thanks. God bless you.